let's go to Amsterdam. How weird is that? Hello and welcome back to the Volks Wizard channel. Well, it's been a few weeks since I did my budget road trip to Bruges in my Audi R8, and because I saved so much money on that trip, I can actually afford to do it again, but unfortunately not in the R8. This time we're going to be a little bit more ambitious and go to Amsterdam, the capital of the Netherlands, and we're going to take a car that's been designed for the job, which has got a lot more luggage capacity than the R8. It's probably faster and it's a lot more economical. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to get there, where to stay, where to park, what to see, including some car related things. But actually a big part of this video will be to try and get 45 miles per gallon out of this car as an average for the full length of the trip from here in Warwickshire to Amsterdam. I've just fitted the new Bridgestone Turanza 6 tyres, which promise more economy. The long-term MPG is currently 40 MPG over the 2,500 miles that I've had it. So hopefully with a long trip, we'll be able to get to that magic figure. But let's get on the road and see how we get on. Okay, so this is the long-term memory before setting off. I'm just going to reset it now so we have a long-term memory for the trip. As you can see, 40 miles to the gallon, dead over 2,500 miles. Some of you said I couldn't do that. Well, I have, and now I want to do even better with 45. So let's just reset that and get going. Quick stop at Beaconsfield Services, and we've already cracked the 45 mile to the gallon barrier, but it is early days yet. I want to achieve 45 mpg when I get to Amsterdam over the length of the trip, not just in the first 65 miles. But I'm super impressed with that. I could have gone slower on the motorway as well, but we really haven't got time to be doing 60 miles an hour. This is a pretty average speed for a motorway that I've been doing. So yeah, maybe 50 is on the cards if you want to drive it in an eco way. But we'll see how it pans out over the next 300 plus miles. Okay, we're currently on the M26 between the M25 and Dover, and I'm cruising at 70 miles an hour, 1400 RPM in 8th gear in the S4, and I just thought it'd be a good time to tell you a little bit more about this trip. I've got my wife with me, Kate, as usual, and we're using the ferry to cross the channel once again like we did with the R8, but this time we're going Dover Calais, and we're going to use a different company to the FDS. So if you might remember, they're a bit funny about low cars on the 3-day trip, and also they charged like an extra £100 double if you book at half term, which they slap on right at the end. So I thought I'd try someone else this time, and we've gone for, counterintuitively, Irish Ferries, who run a Dover Calais service. They beat DFDS by £1 for the 3-day trip, assuming DFDS don't charge you the supplement. So it's £98. They don't even ask you if you're in a lower car, they just ask you the height of it. Probably should have set 50 miles per gallon as the target for this trip, because we're, believe it or not, on 49.6 after 126 miles, which is ridiculous. What we have noticed, because we normally go away in cars that are a lot harder and noisier and less comfortable, that this is a very soothing car, don't you think, darling?
I feel really relaxed for the first time in some time.
Yeah, compared to a GT4, which we drove all the way to Italy, it's like being in bed, really, which is kind of good and bad in many ways. So all good so far, and we're taking it nice and easy, so we're sticking to the speed limits, of course, like we normally do. We've had some speed restricted stretches that have helped the MPG, but oh my god, it's going to get on to 49.9 any second now, which is just insane for this car with 347 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque. Yeah, so far so bloody good. As I've mentioned in videos before, I like to get my fuel in the UK before hitting Europe, because it's rarely any more expensive, and if you include transaction charges for foreign currency, it's usually cheaper than buying it abroad. There is a Tesco superstore just off the M20, so that's good if you go into the Eurotunnel and Dover port. It's really quick off and onto the motorway from here. It doesn't really add any time. If you go into Dover via the A2, there's one at the top of the hill, the White Cliffs Industrial Park. So we're filling up with fuel, and we're going to get the Tesco meal deal for £3.40 with a regular Costa as well. Well, that was pretty quick. We're driven pretty much straight up to the French border control, which is the first one you come to. It is a weekday now. It's 1 in the afternoon, so it's nowhere near prime time for Dover. But yeah, it's pretty impressive so far. And it's taken us 3 hours, 5 minutes, and 51.2 to the gallon. I'm almost embarrassed about that. Right, got to put the camera away. Okay, well, that was completely painless. We're lined up to go on. The ship's not here as yet though, so that's a bit of a worry, but I've checked on the Irish Ferries app and we are on time. Now we're quite a bit further down the harbour than we were last time when we got the DFDS. And in theory, there should be a reasonably good terminal building somewhere around here. Okay, well, here it is, boardwalk shopping. There is zebra crossing markings all around this place, so if you follow those it's probably the safest thing to do. Never been here before, didn't even know it existed. I don't know how it works when you leave your car, you know, in the queue, but I guess people can get around you, and if you know your ferry's not in yet, then there's nothing to worry about. How calm is this compared to Eurotunnel? It's pretty cool. Okay, here we go then onto the Isle of Inishmore, I think it's called. The Irish ferry. So we're going upstairs with the cars because we're not in a low car. I don't know where they would have checked if we were in a low car at this point, but at least in this car we do not have to worry too much, although it's hardly an SUV, so best to be a little bit careful. Okay, this is all very good and very pretty, but this time, because the crossing's so cheap, I paid the 12 quid per person to get access to the club class lounge, which is on deck 11 here at the top of the ship. Now, unlike DFDS, there's actually proper food in here, but we'll see what we can get. And you still get priority boarding as well, so I figured it's worth paying the extra. So yeah, let's see how we get on. Well, welcome to the club class lounge then here on Irish Ferries. I'm just in the process of finishing off my Golf Tdi Clubschport video, which will probably gone live about a week before this video went out. The Wi-Fi here is pretty good. There's a whole selection of sort of free snacks there, so you don't really need to buy any lunch, but you can order stuff as well from the restaurant and have it up here. It's really quiet. There's a good view because we're at the front of the ship, and yeah, it's really relaxing. Really enjoying this. Okay, it's going to take longer than a Eurotunnel, but I think I'm going to be ready for the 3-hour stint to Amsterdam when I get off, so yeah, all good. I just thought I'd pop out on deck and show you the French coast, because purely by coincidence I'm crossing the channel on the day of the Normandy landings. Yeah, D-Day was 80 years ago today. It was a bit further down the coast in Normandy, not here in the Straits of Dover, but you can still imagine what those brave guys had to do to protect Britain during the Second World War, and we should be eternally grateful to them. Okay, well, it's just gone 5 o'clock, so I guess we'd call that on time. Very nice crossing. What did you think, Kate?
Really good crossing. Well, we had nice weather, so that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Not feeling sick.
Yeah.
We were in the lounge.
Yeah.
Which was really nice.
Yeah. There's enough food there to make you not have to go and buy lunch anywhere else, but we'd already had lunch, so I guess we kind of missed the main benefit of being in there. But we do have a benefit now, and that involves priority disembarkation, which comes with the lounge deal. So yeah, overjoyed with the value for money for that.
I thought it was better than DFDS.
Yeah, well,
by a little bit, and I thought the facilities were better.
Yeah.
The toilets were better.
Yeah.
But I didn't see the main canteen, so I don't know about that.
No.
But it was good on the whole.
There's also a sense of urgency getting us here on time, which we didn't have with DFDS on the way out anyway last time. So we are a good hour and a bit ahead of where we were going to Bruges, which is good because we've got a lot longer to go, but it should be worth it for one of Europe's best capital cities, shouldn't it?
I hope so.
50.6 mpg still showing on the dash. Got no idea what it's going to be like when we get to Amsterdam, but I guess I should adjust my target to be 50 when we get there, but we'll see how we get on. We've got to make progress, so maybe economy shouldn't really be a priority, but the weather's good. It's 17.5 degrees, so yeah, let's go to Amsterdam. So we've made it to Amsterdam. I'll tell you about the hotel shortly, but let's just have a look at the MPG. 48.5 over 411 miles, 7 hours of driving. That is incredible. Anyway, it's getting late, so it's time now to go into the hotel. So this is our hotel. It's the Radisson Park in Amsterdam West. We chose here because it's quite cheap at about 150 euros per night, though we did get a room upgrade once again. I'll show you the room later. It's also quite close to the centre, but easy to get out from because we're going to do some drives around the local area. But for most people coming to Amsterdam, obviously you want to go into the centre of town, and the good news is that's really easy from here as well, because just down here is a mainline rail station with numerous connections. So there's Amsterdam Sloterdijk train station, and as I said, numerous connections from there. Just make sure you get a direct train, because some of them sort of circumnavigate the city and take quite a bit longer, but I think the quickest connection to the centre is about 6 or 7 minutes. Okay, now let's have a look at our room. It continues the trendy theme of the rest of the hotel, and it's a superior room with panoramic city view, which we'll come to in a second. It's quite spacious. It's nothing special really. The bathroom's in here behind this massive door. And then we've got a seating area over here, a table, only one USB port, which seems a bit strange for a trendy hotel. Big bed as before. And out here is the panoramic city view, which includes a motorway and a railway track, and then I guess Amsterdam city in the distance. I'm not really that bothered about having a view in this direction though. I just don't like to be low down. This is the breakfast area, and it's just finished serving here. It's till 10 o'clock during the week, 11 o'clock at the weekends, and there's a great selection. And this rolls into the bar, which is open till really late, and they serve food till I think 10 o'clock at night. So if you turn up late like we did, it's a good place to grab a bite. If you arrive and you're a little bit peckish and you don't fancy eating in the restaurant, which is just down here, oh, that's my favourite one, that is. There's this little shop where you just help yourself and just swipe your card somewhere. So there's crisps, loads of drinks, and a good range of sandwiches. Well guys, this is the car park at the Radisson Park in Amsterdam. It's quite expensive at 27.50 euros a day. But it's very secure, as you can see, and because it's expensive, it's really empty. I think it's only this floor. You come in, turn right, we've parked down here, and the entrance is just there. The only thing you have to watch is coming off the pavement. There is a bit of a ramp down, which I don't think my GT4 would like at all. You can see that there. Other than that, it's dead easy. The spaces are good. And check this out. Padded pillars, which makes parking close to them a little bit less nerve-wracking, but the spaces are quite big, as you can see, so it's all good. You don't see many bright coloured cars in Europe, but probably the most common bright colour car is a Kermit Green RS3. So this one's Dutch plated. It's got some body kit on it, which does suit it. Steel brakes, red calipers, Quattro on the doors. Bit of a diffuser down there. And there is a bit of colour, not on the dash though, but on the seats. So yeah, oh, and it's got the panoramic sunroof. So yeah, maybe that's here for DTM, which is at Zandvoort this weekend. Well, this is Central Station in Amsterdam on a weekday at 10 to 12. And it's, yeah, pretty calm and not very stressful at all. Yeah, when public transport's like this, you really want to use it. Well, it's the first time I've been here, and I think coming out at this station gives you the full experience straight away. So here we have trams, amazing building, canals. There are lots of nice sights here, but it's always interesting to see a Mercedes Maybach. Don't really see that newer model in the UK much, and there is an SUV as well. This anyway is the main square, well, one of the squares here in Amsterdam, and this apparently is the Royal Palace. And again, it's very civilized. We're headed west out of town towards the Rijks Museum, which is just up the road there, and we get to see more of what I expected from Amsterdam, i.e. canals and older buildings, not so many shops. S6 Avants are not exactly rare, particularly in Europe, but the facelift version of the S6 has got no exhaust tips at all, because there was so much moaning about the fakes, understandably. But this car, which is all blacked out, my eye was drawn by the amount of black on it, appears to have real connected exhausts. I will just go around this bike and show you that this side as well is also connected. How weird is that? Okay, we've been walking for about 20 minutes and we're now at the Rijks Museum, which is one of the leading art galleries in the world, right by a canal. It's €22.50 per person to enter it. It's worth it if you're going to go to an art gallery. This is probably the one to go for, because it's got lots of paintings from the leading artists of the region. There are just so many nice places to stop for a drink and watch the world go by.
Everything is better with a pink drink.
And when in Rome, drink Heineken. It's easy to forget this is a Dutch beer. And Amsterdam's famous for bikes, but it's also pretty big when it comes to electric vehicles. So here we have two big SUVs charging at the roadside. And then there's quite a few of these Citroen Amis, and this must be the Opel version in front of it. And there's all sorts of weird little city cars as well. Now, there's no point me telling you everything you can do in Amsterdam, because there is so much you can do, some of it which isn't legal in the UK, if you know what I mean. Just rest assured there is something for everybody, even a walk in a nice park on a nice day. We're in Vondel Park, which is just outside the city centre, named after a famous writer. There's a statue here somewhere. But this isn't a travel channel, this is a car channel. And as usual, that's a funny smell in the air there, isn't it? As usual, there is something car related not too far away. And the Netherlands, being the home of Max Verstappen, is no different. So my car related tip for this trip is to come here to Circuit Zandvoort if you visit Amsterdam. It's just 20 miles to the west. The beach is literally just over there. Beautiful sunset this evening. And this weekend, purely by coincidence, we have the German touring cars here. The DTMs and Audi are here with Team Apps. I think they're racing an R8. And obviously we've got F1 here as well later in the year. It's a crazy place. This. It really is just a little seaside resort, but it's got a world-class circuit right here. Now in this car park just across the road from Circuit Zandvoort is this RS3 that's been converted by Abt, who are racing in the DTM this weekend. So let's have a quick look at it. It's got carbon diffuser, it's got an Apt exhaust, it's an RS3R, so it just seems to be the complete package. It's got Apt wheels, it's got some huge brakes, I think they're ceramic, could be from the factory though. It's definitely sitting lower. It's got some vents on there which Apt like to fit to their cars. It's got aerodynamic bits on the front with this carbon splitter which is just about off the ground there. And just down the coast from Zandvoort is this amazing beach. It's a little bit windy, but it's a beautiful evening, and yeah, definitely worth the trip out of Amsterdam. Today we've decided to do a little excursion heading north out of Amsterdam, because there is these couple of bridges that cross the body of water that's just to the east of Amsterdam, and they look really interesting. And actually they're not that far away. It's probably an easy day trip, and we just thought we'd expand our knowledge of this area. So right now we're on this bridge here, which presumably has been man-made, and you can see the water here and the turbines which the Dutch like, because obviously they're the country that probably invented the windmill. The mainland's just over there. Can't see much over here because they've built this sandbank, but yeah, it's great. The Dutch are very relaxed when it comes to their driving, almost like they've been smoking something. So a lot of the roads during the day are 60 miles an hour, 100 kilometres. Most people tend to stick to that. It's a really easy place to drive. The roads are well laid out. Yeah, really enjoying it. Generally the landscape in the Netherlands is much like East Anglia in the UK. It's very flat, but I guess you get it in the Norfolk Broads, you get bodies of water, but they're a bit bigger here, so they break up all the flat land, and yeah, it's nice. As you can see, it's quite windy by the water, but this picnic area that's signposted off the A6 motorway is quite sheltered, and it's beautiful. Picnic tables everywhere. Now this is what a Dutch McDonald's coffee looks like, and this, by the way, is a large one. It's €3.55 as opposed to sort of €1.59 in the UK these days, which is about, say, €2, so pretty much double the price. You get this nougat piece with it, which is a nice touch, and you have to milk it yourself. And it comes out of a proper coffee machine, you know, the ones that they have in like proper coffee shops, and it tastes pretty good. Well, we've had a pretty tourist-free day today, but before heading back into Amsterdam, we've come to the, I suppose, seaside resort, you'd call it. If the causeways hadn't been built, it would have been open to the North Sea. It's Volendam, just down the road from Edam, where the cheese comes from. And it's quite late on a Saturday night, but there are a lot of people out here eating and drinking. It's quite a bustling place. You can obviously go on a boat trip, a little bit bigger scale than the canals in Amsterdam. There's some kind of, behind this cruiser, there's a very interesting looking galleon. Well, I'm no expert on ships, but this looks pretty impressive. It's got statenjack.nl on it, so if you want to check it out. Okay, well, on our tour today around the water to the east of Amsterdam, we've managed to get the average up from 48.5 to 48.9. And today we've done a fair few miles as well. We've done 203 miles at an average of 52.4 miles per gallon. So that's quite a long distance, enough for it to be pretty representative. It's pretty slow driving in the Netherlands generally. There's no really fast bits, not around this part of the country anyway. So we've been doing probably 50 to 60 for a lot of the time. The average speed is 45 though, so it's not been complete plain sailing. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, and I'm pretty sure around maybe 10% of that is down to the Bridgestone Turanza 6 tyres, because I've never seen close to 50 before. I haven't seen enough GTIs on this trip. They're pretty rare in the Netherlands, I think because they cost so much more. So here's one that's probably staying in our hotel from Oostkirchen. I think that's the EU is Oostkirchen, which is near the Nürburgring, and it's in Moonstone grey. It's got its winter wheels still on, interestingly, with Bridgestone winter tyres. I think these are Bakersfield wheels, correct me if I am wrong. It's got sunroof, it's got the standard seats, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen a Clubsport. Well, we're back where we started in Calais. We've done 885 miles since leaving home in Warwickshire, at an average of 48.7 miles to the gallon, which, bearing in mind, a lot of that hasn't been cruising. I'm super impressed with that. On the way back from Amsterdam today, we took the most easterly route, which takes you over a load of, they're like causeways, where the Dutch have blocked the North Sea from entering into their canals. And that was really, really interesting. It took a long time, but it was actually really amazing to see how the Dutch have managed to control the North Sea and the risk of flooding. Anyway, now I'm going to tell you exactly what this road trip has cost us. Well, it's been a few days since we came back from Amsterdam, and even though it was a little bit more stressful and tiring than simply going to Bruges, it was most definitely worth the effort. We have some very fond memories, but at what price do those memories come? Well, let's start off then with the biggest cost, which was a hotel. We stayed at the Radisson Park in Amsterdam West. We initially booked a standard room that was €150 per night, and we stayed there for 3 nights. We got a free upgrade though to a superior room with panoramic city view. That was because we are Radisson Rewards Club members, and you can be that as well. It's free to join. You can, by the way, stay at this hotel for as little as £85 per night, but we went at a particularly busy weekend, so we had to pay a little bit more, but it was still, in relative terms, very good value, though we did have to pay extra for breakfast and for parking. Breakfast was £15 per person per day, so that was about £90. By the way, it's cheaper if you book it when you're there, because it's like they're trying to sell it to you. You didn't want it initially, so we saved a couple of euros each doing that per day. Parking, there wasn't an awful lot of competition. There was a car that was broken into outside the hotel, so it's definitely worth paying the 28 euros or so to park in the hotel. So that came to about £25 per night, £75. So in total, hotel with parking, breakfast came to £535.73. The next biggest cost was fuel. So we used about 22 gallons at £6.89 per gallon for diesel, and we did 1,050 miles. That works out at a nice round £150. The next biggest cost was the ferry. So that was £98 on the Irish Ferries 3-day short break special offer, plus we paid £24 for 2 people to go into the club class lounge on the outbound journey, which is money well spent if you take advantage of the food that's available there, because you don't need to buy a meal elsewhere, including a Tesco meal deal. I won't be buying that again, I'll just be having it in the lounge. Now we need to talk about food, because obviously that's quite a cost. I don't think it's particularly expensive to eat in Amsterdam, and actually we had 2 evening meals in the hotel that were £40 each, and that was basically 2 drinks, 2 mains, 2 salads. And by the way, you get 10% off the food in that hotel restaurant if you're a Radisson Rewards Club member. Every little helps. We also had a pizza at Zandvoort in a nice restaurant overlooking the North Sea. We shared that pizza, had a good salad with it, 2 drinks, £27.65. And we also went to the Rijks Museum. That was €45, so £38 for 2 people to go into that. Not cheap, but you know, it's quite a special place. We also had lunch there, which was 2 pretty good sandwiches and 2 drinks. That was £22. So that makes a total of £983.52. And bear in mind, that was with the luxury of the Audi S4 TDI, which was just an amazing car to do that trip in. And if it had done 40 miles to the gallon, I still wouldn't be disappointed by it. As ever, guys, thanks for watching this Volks Wizard video. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. There'll be more road trips this summer, some a lot more ambitious than Bruges and Amsterdam, I can tell you. And yeah, see you for the next one very soon.